this is Osakana Fish School episode 4. I have received a lot of the feedback from customers about how to store fish. There are two ways to store fish. One's keeping it fresh and one's by keeping frozen. And I'm gonna actually divide that in two different chapters so I can talk more in depth about each process. And so today I'll talk about how to freeze fish properly. So this is my fish drawing, and it is important to know that we're not actually trying to store this fish itself. We're actually trying to store the flavor that is inside a mussel cell. But the flavor is surrounded by the water. Improper freezing will lose all this flavor. That's what we want to avoid. And then I'm gonna show you how salt helps freezing two ways. So this is freezing without the salt, and then this is freezing with the salt. So the reason why the flavor gets lost after defrosting is because when you freeze fish, the water inside the mussel shell gets crystallized like this and then breaks all the mussel shell. After defrosting, all the mussel cells are already broken. That's why the water and then the flavors are all going out of the mussel cell. That's why the taste of the fish after defrost is less flavorful than the fresh fish. So we have a salt here. So we're gonna salt the fish ahead of time. Then after 30 minutes or so, the water comes out of the mussel cell without breaking the mussel. Then even you freeze this, the water is less. That's why the crystallization doesn't actually break the mussel cell. Therefore, after defrosting, the water and flavor stays inside because the mussel cells are not broken. I'm going to use this beautiful salmon to show you how to freeze properly. And first, the important thing is that you're gonna pre-portion the fish. Benefit of pre-portioning the fish is you can take out as much as you need, and also it freezes quick. It's important to freeze fish as quickly as possible, so there is a less time for the crystallization happens in the mussel cell, which leads to less drip, more flavor. So before you start actually salting the fish, let's make sure that you have a paper towel. And then the paper towel are laid on the plastic containers or any trays like this, so they have a place to rest. You want to salt this evenly. You can use any salt you have in a kitchen. Pretty much. Then we're gonna move it. Now salmon's all salted, and I'm gonna rest them for about a half hour. So it's about a half hour. Let's see how it came out. A salmon half hour after. You can kind of see that a lot of the shininess all around the fish. That is actually the water, and then you can kind of tell that the a lot of log waters are on the paper. That's why it's important that you actually salt it with a paper on it, so that while it's being cured, the paper is actually absorbing the salt too. all of them are ready to be wrapped. It's very important to wrap as tightly as possible with no air. I don't have any preference on the plastic wrap. You can just use any plastic wrap you see in the store. Like this. So now these fish are ready to be in a freezer, and then it's very important that you are not gonna stack them up like this. The temperature in the middle won't go down as quickly, so it's very important that you're actually gonna freeze it flat like this, and then this goes into the freezer straight, and then you're gonna just keep it flat, and then after they're completely frozen, you can stack them and then put in a Ziploc. However you want to organize the freezer, that's okay. So that is it. In summary, it's very important to have salt, take the moisture out, wrap it, take the water out, wrap it very tightly so no air inside a plastic wrap. Otherwise, it actually causes what's called a freezer burn. It actually dries out, so you actually want to avoid it. And then freeze it flat. So that's how I recommend to freeze fish at home, so that you can actually keep the flavor as much as possible in this fish. Thank you so much for watching my episode 4 about fish freezing. And then next episode, I should be talking about how to keep the fish fresh, store fish fresh, unless I have a lot of different questions from you guys about how to do different things. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.